I'd like to call to order the Township of Morris Planning Board meeting, July 7th, 2025. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I hereby announce that the legal notice required in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act has been satisfied and the statement certifying the same will be executed. At this time, I will ask our board members, since we don't have the chairman or the vice chairman, if someone would volunteer to share this meeting tonight.
I nominate George Quillen. I'll second that.
Mr. Quillen, would you take the chair?
Yes, I will.
Okay, you may have the seat.
Hold on, folks. Need a voice vote on that, and there's no other nominations, correct?
I'm sorry?
No other nominations?
No other nominations.
Are there any other nominations?
No.
No.
And all in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, there we go.
Mr. Sobinsky?
Just doing my job.
Good to keep us honest.
That's what I'm here to do. Thanks.
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you, I think, for this honor. I've never done this before, so I hope you'll bear with me. We have one main matter on the agenda tonight, and first we need to do the roll call. So sorry, Sonia, please call the roll.
Mr. Flowers?
Here.
Mr. Rabbit?
Here.
Ms. Murphy?
Here.
Mr. Benoit?
Here.
Ms. Corriglia?
Here.
Mr. Quillen?
Here.
Ms. Laney? Here. Mr. Boyd?
Here. Here.
And I'm Sonia Santiago. Here. Oh,
Okay.
Mr. Sobinsky?
I'm here.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the main item on the agenda for tonight is a public hearing on master plan consistency for an ordinance that was recently introduced. Sonia, would you like to read the description of that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is our ordinance 2325 from the Township of Morris, adopting of the redevelopment plan for the Ketch Road regarding the property identified on the tax map as block 1901, a portion of lot 1, 540 West Hanover Avenue, and a portion of lot 101, 81 Ketch Road, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1, for master plan consistency review.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Laney, would you like to describe what our task is here tonight?
I will. Mr. Sobieski, do you want to swear me in?
Might as well, Liz. I don't think it's entirely necessary, but I will. All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Great.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. So as you have before you, something that was introduced by the Township Committee, the Ketch Road redevelopment plan, and it's dated June 2025, which is a redevelopment plan for the area that we recommended to the Township Committee be declared an area in need of redevelopment, within the last month. So what we're here tonight to do is a very narrow focus. It's pursuant to the MLUL section 40:55D-26, which essentially requires that any land use regulation, and a redevelopment plan is a land use regulation, before it's adopted by the governing body, has to go to the planning board, and the planning board has to determine and then write or make a report to the town governing body. Any provisions in in the ordinance, in this case, the redevelopment plan, that are inconsistent with the master plan. So it's a fairly narrow focus. It's sort of, is this, what is the contents of the Ketch Road redevelopment plan? Are they inconsistent with the master plan? So I'm just going to go through all of those and make my recommendation, and then certainly the board can ask me any questions that you have.
Okay, I'd like to just clarify one thing first, which is this is not a public hearing. Is that correct? I believe that we're not required to have this be a public hearing, and perhaps we're not allowed to have it be a public hearing. In the agenda, there is a public comment section later on, but I believe that's for other matters if the public wants to, any members of the public wish to make a comment. But this portion of the agenda is not a public hearing.
That's right. The contents also of the redevelopment plan will be the subject of a public hearing next Wednesday before the Township Committee. Because
Okay.
it's the Township Committee that adopts the plan. And that will be a public hearing where, the public's invited to get up and ask questions, make comments, et cetera. This is, like I said, I keep saying it, but narrow focus, it is what the contents of the redevelopment plan inconsistent with the master plan. And so I'm sure you're well aware, but the last master plan was done, full master plan was done in 1994. And, there have been some amendments to the land use element and the circulation plan element in 2017. There have been reexaminations reports in 2007. Or 2001, 2007, and most recently in 2017. And the 2017 re-exam reaffirmed one of the primary goals of the 1994 master plan, which is regarding the preservation of the residential character of the community. And these are specific sub-goals that were emphasized. Ensure that new infill development in these neighborhoods considers and respects the context, establish scale and character of surrounding homes, permit multifamily development only in carefully selected locations. So this redevelopment plan contemplates or permits 50 units of affordable housing in the built context of where it is. It's surrounded by a variety of specialized and really even more specifically affordable housing that is either owned by the county or administered by the county or nonprofit. So you have the ARC Special Needs, you have Morris Muse, you have Vincent Gallo retirement home. So this is the built context is sort of it fits in with that built context. So, and this is permitting affordable housing, which would be within that built context. The other aspect of the 2017 report is there's a plate number 5, which was prepared by Morris County in 2012 and identified lands on the larger lot, block 1901, lot 1, would be an appropriate site for additional affordable housing. Where they had located that in 2012 subsequently became the solar panels. But what we see here, or what we're contemplating here, is in a similar location in that it's a very similar context. It's on that same block and lot, but it's just in a different location. It's slightly to the south. There's also, the 2017 report mentioned that the housing preferences has gotten sort of diversified both locally on the state level and really on the country level, that as people age, they want to, maybe want to stay in a place like Morris Township, but they don't want to live in a single family home. At the other end of the spectrum, you have people just getting out of school who would like to live in Morris, but maybe can't afford a single family home yet, or just would like to live in a lower maintenance type of housing. So there was a recommendation in the plan to diversify the housing stock. Most recently, the last time I was here, we adopted the housing element in the Fair Share Plan. The housing element in the Fair Share Plan discusses this particular redevelopment area because it is a part of a settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center, who, brought litigation to the township in response to the township's rezoning of the Red Bull site. So this project not only sort of is part of that settlement agreement, but it's also providing 50 units of affordable housing towards the township's third round. Which are two very important things. So from my standpoint, my recommendation to the board, based on everything I just said, this is not inconsistent. The redevelopment plan is not inconsistent with the master plan, and is actually, in fact, substantially consistent. The standard is a little bit of a weird double negative. It's not inconsistent, but that would be my recommendation.
Okay,
And that's it.
thank you. Board members, any discussion?
I'd just
Yeah.
like to comment that the area selected for this development really fits the need because there are so many other developments of similar nature in the vicinity. So it wouldn't be like you would develop a 50-unit affordable housing development in a separate residential area. This is already surrounded with other multi-unit developments, and therefore I think it's if not a perfect fit, it's practically a perfect fit vis-a-vis what we've said in the master plan in the past and how we would like to continue with the master plan going forward.
Sure.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with what my colleague said, but I'm just curious for the public, and I know that there's not going to be a lot of public commentary on this today, perhaps on Township Committee next week. And you said it's substantially consistent with the master plan. Is there any non-conformity that you're aware of that you can tell us?
No, and as I said, it's really the test is not inconsistent, and I think it is not inconsistent. Certainly with the most recent housing element, which, as you know, is a part of the master plan. Mm-hmm. It's an element of the master plan, and certainly with the regards to as Ms. Murphy was saying, putting this sort of little bit, I hate to use the word higher density, but just this is maybe a more appropriate location than let's say a neighborhood that's all single family homes. And I think that is consistent with the 1994 master plan to preserve, the context and scale of residential neighborhoods.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question that's kind of a history question. It's not directly relevant perhaps to the master plan consistency of this ordinance, but I wanted to ask about the solar panels that the county installed on the site that had been contemplated. They are ground-mounted solar panels, and I think Morris Township has an ordinance forbidding ground-mounted solar panels. I don't know if that post-dates the installation of those panels, or if the county has some sort of right to not follow our ordinances. But do you happen to know? Yeah, Mr. Quinn.
Yeah, so the solar panel was part of a agreement that the county had with their provider, and there was litigation involved in it. And those panels were originally supposed to be up at County College and some school facilities, and then they backed out. So the county had to do them, so they put them on locations of county properties, including the hill there below Marsh View. It did become before the planning board, and the planning board unanimously rejected the plan. However, being that the county is a superior or higher level of government, they don't have to listen to our planning board, and they move forward and install those solar panels.
So our planning board just has kind of advisory.
It's a courtesy.
It was a courtesy review, sir.
Courtesy review, similar
Yes.
to what we would do for a school.
And it was a unanimous vote no on the solar panels, but the county chose to do that because of the litigation that was involved as part of this.
Okay, that's a shame, but thank you for the.
You're welcome. I think it was about 10 years ago or so.
Those panels do bother me when I drive.
You were, I
by.
was, Linda was here. It was part of that. So,
And
but
voted no.
I know the township committee was, pretty vocal on it. We had some meetings and with the county freeholders at the time, trying to get them to take it someplace else because these solar panels were supposed to be in other municipalities and they ended up in Morris Township.
Okay, thank you.
We actually use the term visual pollution.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
appropriate.
I think that was polite words.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone have another question for Ms.?
Quick question. I just
Yeah,
want to clarify.
discussion.
So the details in this redevelopment plan, such as,
You might want to use your microphone closer to you.
I'm sorry, how's that?
Better.
The details on the plan, such as the facade, the layout of the buildings, those are not put in stone? This is just conceptual and that at some point we'll look at the details?
No, I think, well, yes and no. For the plan, the plan has the requirement. So to the extent that the plan says shall, that's a requirement. If it should, there's a little more leniency. What will happen, presumably, based on your vote tonight, and then presumably, let's say on July 16th, next Wednesday, when it comes before a public hearing, presumably it gets adopted, the applicant will come for site plan. And then you'll get very extensive, renderings and images and much more detail.
And well, like, for example, this doesn't show the rear yards. So, and it only shows one of the three buildings. So I don't know how many people, I don't know how many families any units you can get into this one building. So when they actually come in, let's say we can make comment and not like or approve certain aspects of all of that, and then look for changes at that time, even though this is what's in the redevelopment plan now.
I think it depends on the extent of the changes that you're discussing. I think if you're looking for more detail, that you certainly will get that with the site plan application.
Sure.
But if you're looking for, well, I'm making this up. Oh, I think it should all be stucco or whatever, or it should all be in the Spanish style or whatever. That you can't change if it's not consistent with what's in the redevelopment plan. You won't be able to make that change at site plan.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify, because this is on county property and is an agreement between a government entity at the county level and a government entity at the municipal level, when we see it in more detail, is it not just a courtesy review at that point?
No, I think it's a really good question, which I hadn't thought about, but I wouldn't have said so. I would have said that the applicant, because the applicant is not the county.
But it's being built at our behest.
On county land.
So I would like to explore an answer to that question, whether
Okay.
it's a courtesy review, in which case we can offer opinions, but they don't have to take them.
Right.
Or if that goes through the process as a regular private applicant would.
Right.
So I'd like that advice.
All right. Sorry, Chris, do you have an answer to
I'm
that?
taking notes on that too. I guess my question would be, who is the ultimate end owner of the property? Is the county selling it to this particular applicant?
No, it would be
No, so the county's going to retain ownership.
Yeah, the county, for example, with the ARC project or some of the other sites or other facilities on that block and lot, they lease, the users lease the land.
Right.
You have a lease.
But the county would not be the applicant of the site plan, right? They wouldn't be the site plan applicant.
They're not. No, they would not be. They would not be. It would be whoever is going to develop this.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's an interesting.
It's an interesting question. The further down you get the line on, I'll have to look into it myself a little bit. I'm inclined to believe, if they're going to go through all the trouble of trying to come to assistant in developing a redevelopment plan for the property with the township, they would be kind of subjecting themselves. At least they're not. It doesn't seem that they're arguing that they're exempt vis-a-vis some kind of supersedence that the county would have. At least at this point. Does that make sense? They're not. As I understand it, at least they're not contending that they're they shouldn't have to get,
I
site
think-
plan.
That is
I
true.
think
I think they
Tim
anticipate
understand that.
having to go through the whole site plan process before the planning board.
Yeah, I'd just like to have a formal.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Quinn
Yeah,
has a
It's
comment
a good
about this.
question.
Like,
Yes.
The way the process is going to anticipate it is that the township has to name a redeveloper, which will be on the township committee agenda next week as part of the redevelopment plan. This is 100% affordable redeveloper. Then they will be applying for the appropriate tax credit so that they can build this unit. So it's a very competitive process that they have to go through. The county will give us, the township, the property, and then the township will give that to the developer with a lot of conditions on that they have to build 100% affordable in a certain amount of time. And if they don't do that, then there's reverter clauses that are going to be there, that if the affordable housing is not built, then the property comes back to the township and then the property goes back to the county of Morris.
Okay, so I guess we'll see how this works out, but it doesn't seem very likely
So
to me
the-
that well, I mean,
the
it
re-
doesn't seem to me that the county would want to intervene and say the planning board is being too difficult and putting too many requirements on the
No.
site plan. It just doesn't seem plausible to me that the county would take that position.
We have an agreement with the county that was already put in place for this. And your applicant before the planning board will be the developer, not the township or the county.
So perhaps it would be useful for us to see that agreement between the township and the county.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Right,
Yep,
good.
but that's the tentative plan, but moving forward for this to move forward with the developer to get the 100%, the tax credits, 9% tax credits for the 100% affordable housing project. So it's all lined out and how it has to move forward, and timeline similar to the affordable housing plan that we just saw. It's a very strict timeline on how things have to take place.
All right, that was a good
So I
question.
take from those comments, Mr. Quinn, that the applicant is just a regular applicant, not a government entity per se. And that we could offer comments relative to the design specifications prior to approval.
They're being treated
He or
as a
she would likely
No.
accept. However, having said that, as a municipality, we do want this development to go forward because it is part of a settlement
It's
agreement.
also part of our settlement agreement that we had with Fair Share Housing as part of that.
So it's the devil in the details that we're
Right.
looking at
Right,
as
but
opposed
they
to
were-
questioning the development overall.
They're being
Correct.
treated as a regular applicant, paying the fees and going through the process as a regular applicant would.
Thank you. That's clarifying. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Just one
Yeah,
follow-up
Mr.
question
Benoit.
too. So like, for example, it doesn't say that the developer needs to comport with the ordinance for governing architectural design standards. It does talk about some design standard. It doesn't talk about that specific ordinance. So are there other things that don't need to?
No, there's a provision in the redevelopment plan, it's pretty common, which is says, anything not directly addressed in the plan reverts to the ordinance.
Okay.
So like if there's some specific thing you have in mind that isn't addressed here, then you can, I would say, you'd say the ordinance prevails, the ordinance governs. Because if we had to put everything that, that the plan would be like 40 pages long,
No, I
right? Because you'd have
understand,
to
right.
put all that, all
Yeah, I don't
of
have a
that,
problem with that. I
yeah,
mean, basically,
Yeah.
I think it's a great plan. We need to go forward and all of that. I
yeah.
just want to be comfortable with the process and what's going to occur there and where people are going to be living and what is it going to be like and,
Mhm,
and is it going to benefit the resident there and is it going to benefit the municipality?
mhm,
So I can see a lot of where it's going to benefit everybody,
mhm,
but sometimes there are details
mhm.
that need to be looked at during the process to be sure of that.
Yeah, and I think you'll have that opportunity at site plan.
Okay, thank you.
It isn't just the design, excuse me, it isn't just the design detail.
Not yet.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
It isn't just the design details of the buildings that are a little bit ill-defined in here, but it's also things like the access to the site. You know,
Mhm.
how are the driveways going to be constructed, and presumably that's going to be up to the developer to propose. So that's why it was not specified
I
in
think
great detail.
in addition to the agreement that Mr. Quinn described between the county and the developer, I think that a similar agreement having to do with access, whatever agreement that is in paper that can be provided the board, you know, in advance, as part of the site plan application, in advance of the meeting, so that you have certain knowledge, and then they, of course, can answer questions.
Yeah. But it looks like the plan does speak to access. Page 12. Vehicular access to the public street system shall be provided via driveway or street connection to Ketch Road through existing block 1901, lot 1, on lands that are now part of Ketch Road Field. Be improved to provide adequate access to firefighting.
More specifics on.
It's a little bit less detailed than a site plan.
Right.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from board members? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we accept Elizabeth's recommendation that it's not inconsistent with the master plan and refer this back to the Township Committee for action.
And then we would, and then you're
There's a
also
resolution
moving
we
to
should pass,
approve the resolution
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should
the
approve the
resolution.
with the
resolution.
word not included in those two places.
Right.
I'll
Right.
second it.
All right. Any discussion? Sonia, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Flowers,
Yes.
Mr. Rabbit,
Yes.
Ms. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Ms. Coriglia,
Yes.
Mr. Quillen.
Yes.
So moved.
All right, thank you. Very good. So that is going to be an interesting process as we continue with the Township Committee meeting next week, and then the site plan when that comes through. So moving on with the agenda, is there anything from the Legislative Committee to report? No? So next on the agenda is public comment. If there's anyone from the public who would like to make a comment, we could open the public comment period. Do I need a motion to do that?
No.
All right, so we'll just open the public comment period.
Hi, Lee Goldberg, 10 Arrowhead Road. I just wanted, it's just a point to note of Mr. Benoit's comment. Was there anything else that's not required as part of this redevelopment plan? And in reading through it, I did also note that it seems like there's no environmental impact statement that's going to be part of the process or needed for this. And seeing that one of the units, building 2, the outline of the building actually sits on a wetlands area, that was a little concerning to me. So I don't know if you could either, can I ask you questions or confirm or deny whether an environmental impact statement will be provided as part of this?
I may punt to Joe Vooch, the board engineer, with regard to whether an EIS will be required. Joe, do you want to speak to that?
So I would recommend first and foremost that any concerns you have, you also voice during the public hearing next week at the committee.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is outside the action that was just taken. But the site plans that will come forth will include assessment of wetland impacts, transition areas, and identify all required permitting that would still need to be obtained by the applicant from DEP. So there will be environmental impact assessment to that degree.
Okay, thank you. And then just for purposes of the public, at next week's Township Committee meeting, I'm not sure if anyone here can answer that. Would you expect, besides yourself, I don't know if you'll be here, any other professionals from the township to answer questions from the public besides the engineer and the attorney?
And the planner.
And the planner.
You're right.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Howdy. Ryan Gorman, 26 Normandy Heights.
Can you repeat your name again?
Michael Ryan Gorman, I guess, 26 Normandy Heights. Just want to say I'm hugely supportive of all of the efforts on affordable housing. I really appreciate the township has not joined some other municipalities in litigating this further and trying to fight back against these things and trying to find locations that are acceptable to the majority of folks. Most of the people who are massively supportive of this kind of thing don't show up on Monday at 7 p.m., but there's a huge number of them out there. I know you've made some efforts to get some of their feedback, so I'm just figured it'd be good to show up and share that at least one member of the public and everyone I talked to today about it who didn't show up is also supportive as well. So very much appreciate it. I understand there's concerns. People always have concerns. As a business person, I'm also a developer, land use person, but I also ran a company that had tens of thousands of people, and one of which was headquartered here in Mars County. And we had to go through the process of deciding whether or not to move and take hundreds of jobs out of the area, more than 1,000 jobs out of the area, because we were having such a hard time recruiting. Because much as was mentioned, when people are coming out of school, they don't necessarily have the money to live in such a great place as we all have the opportunity to live right now. These kinds of facilities afford that type of opportunity. So economic diversity is really, really important to the economic bedrock of this community. There's a whole other moral reason for it, but if you just want to focus on the economics, massively supportive of what the township is doing here and what the township's done in the past and what the township will do in the future. So very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Really
Mr. Gorman.
appreciate it.
Any other members of the public wish to speak?
I'll save my comments and questions for next Wednesday's meeting.
Okay, you sure? Because I know when you came in, I said, but that's fine because.
Yeah, no, they'll be fine for next Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll close the public comment portion, and I don't believe there's any need for closed session.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh, my goodness. Joe! Mr. Flowers is standing in for Mr. Alesso.
Must be that side of the room.
Thank you.
It's that side of the
A bit
room.
of an inside joke. Sorry. The public is probably like, why are they thinking so funny?
I'm going to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Meeting
Thank
is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Just think
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.